What's going on, people? Tomorrow we'll possibly play in the Grand Melee a little bit for the video, but today the monthly card for October was announced, so we're going to do our usual shindig. We're going to chat about it, talk about how I want to use it, all that jazz. Card's going to be on the screen somewhere. I don't know where I put things in editing all the time. It's going to be over here with a mouse. But as you can see, it is Champion of the Arena. It is a warrior card, 7 cost, 4/8. It is an orc and a vampire, and it is an interesting effect. It has breakthrough, and on summon, it battles an enemy creature. So right off the jump, you look at the stats, and you see that it costs 7, and you're like, eh. Not that it's bad by any means, but if we take a look at some 7-cost creatures, like Belligerent Giant has a similar stat line, being a 7/4 for 7, where this guy's a 4/8. So it has 1 total more point of stats, but Belligerent Giant's much more aggressively statted, and the summon ability, I would say, overall is more powerful. Destroying an enemy support and or unsummoning a creature is arguably more powerful than battling. Comparatively, you know, a lot of the 7 costs and strength are a little awkward, and they more rely on their effects than their stats overall. So this guy's got a 4/8, and he can, like, battle Belligerent Giant and survive, which is, I guess, pretty interesting overall. But I don't know. Like, I like it. It is a cool card. It is a unique card. But just looking at it, I just wish it cost 6. Like, if it costs 6, let's take a look at the red 6 costs. Like, Child of the Foreseen doesn't really see any play, and this card's really, really strong. Cradle Crush, you know, has the AoE, but I think Champion of the Arena could potentially compete with Cradle Crush. None of these cards really see that much play. None of these cards see that much play, and, like, Stampede Sentinel's good and it doesn't see play. And if we compare it to things in, like, purple is more, you know, specialized. It's got Night Shadow, but again, it kind of relies on the effects here. And then purple 7-drops are just kind of nutty. Not overall, but you got, like, Nahagleave, Zivkin's an effect type 1. Pure Blood is fantastic. You got Dark Seducer for 8. So Champion of the Arena is not going to come down and kill a lot of things that would come down on the same turn as it, which I think is going to be one of the weak points of the card. You're really going to want to play this and, like, clean up things that are left over from turns 4, 5, and 6. So overall, let's say you trade into, like, a 5/3. You'll deal 2 damage or 1 damage to your opponent's face, and then you're left with a 4/3 left over. So it's a 7 cost, like, remove a creature and play a 4/3, which is honestly better than it sounds. I don't know why it's, like, leaving this kind of, like, bad taste in my mouth just thinking about it. I don't really know why. Like, every time I look at it and I think, like, would I pay 7 to kill a 4 or 5 drop and be left with, like, a 3-drop left over? And the answer is probably yes. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of times where this guy will clog your hand or won't remove a high enough value threat. Because the nice thing about Belligerent Giant is it can bounce things back. But more importantly, like, if your opponent has a Nahagleave, Belligerent Giant can bounce that. Whereas Champion of the Arena, it can trade in, but it doesn't finish it off in the end. However, I will say this. There are a couple of my personal favorite decks that I think this card can be very, very good in. The first of which being Self-Damage Warrior. If you aren't aware, you play Fighters Guild Hall. Whenever a friendly creature takes damage, it gets +2, which means you will play the Champion of the Arena. Assuming you trade into something you can survive, you'll kill it, and then Champion of the Arena will be left over with a +2/+0, meaning he'll be left over as, like, maybe a 6/3 instead of a 4/3, which I think feels a lot better. And then if you have heals in your deck and stuff like that, Fighters Guild Hall can just continuously make him better. And then the real spot where I'm interested to try this guy out is in Fat Warrior, which we haven't played in quite a bit. But you play your High Hrothgar, and Champion of the Arena would come down as a 7 Magicka 8/8 with Breakthrough in battle, which I think makes him pretty nutty. The addition, and the other thing that I think we need to keep in mind, is Champion of the Arena is also a very, very good hand buff card. And I think that's maybe where I'm overlooking it and maybe the purpose of this card. A 4-8 with Battle and Breakthrough is like okay overall. However, we're seeing these hand buff cards kind of gain a lot of popularity. And Redoran specifically has been one of the main ones that people have been working with, kind of like a rally hand buff Redoran. And if you can get your hand buffs and rallies onto Champion of the Arena, I think he has sky-high potential, and that's probably the type of deck that you're going to want to run this card in. And it'll probably be the first one that I run the card in. If you don't know, the hand buff is... We've got the 1-cost guy, Doomed Adventurer, gives something in your hand +2/+2. There's a 3/4 Outland Patrol that gives something in your hand +1/+1. This guy right here. You've got the Wax Wayne 4-cost guy that can give something in your hand +2/+2. I can't remember the name right now. Moontouch Guardian. And you play a bunch of those cards in conjunction with like Faded Wraith to turbo card draw. If you're doing it in Redoran, you play it with Apprentice Necromancer to pull back the Doomed Adventurer for more +2/+2s. And you just play a bunch of those things with things like Divine Fervor and buffs. And then I think Champion of the Arena can be a very, very strong card in that deck. Not quite like a win condition, but it can be a potential finisher if you've already pushed enough damage. And that deck has draw out the wazoo thanks to the hyper buffed Faded Wraiths. So I think that card can fit into that deck very nicely. So I think it's kind of like a hand buff card. It's a meme card, and in a regular Warrior deck, it's alright. It's just a little pricey for what you're going to get. But overall, I think the card is solid. I think I'm just underselling it, maybe. Like, I know the card is better than it looks and better than I'm giving it credit for, but I just can't shake this, like, feeling about it. But that doesn't mean the card is bad. It's a card that we're definitely going to try out when it releases, and I think it's one of those cards that I think will probably surprise me. And I will gladly be wrong about the card. But let me know what you guys think of it down below in the comment section. What kind of decks you're looking forward to playing it in. I'm looking forward to hear your guys' feedback. As always, thank you guys all very much for watching. And we'll see you next time. Peace.